Hello everybody, September 16th, 2012. I've linked up an article on Moneybags World. The title is "Dollar No Longer Primary Oil Currency as China Begins to Sell Oil Using the Yuan." I mean, that is monumental if that's true. The problem is the only place I could find that information is from an interview with Lindsey Williams. I'm sure many of you know who that is. He was a pastor on the pipeline in Alaska back in the 1970s. And he lived with the elite for 3 years, and he says the elite are telling him this and that. I'm sure a lot of you have already heard of him or listened to him, and he's been right on a bunch of stuff. And here he's coming out on Radio Liberty on 9/11 saying that China's going to be selling oil in yuan. Now, they don't have a lot of oil, but the following day they make a deal with Russia, an agreement they signed that Russia says they'll give them as much oil as they want. They'll provide them with as much oil as they want. So some pretty crazy stuff coming out. I mean, this is the end of the U.S. dollar as a reserve currency. I mean, if this is true, I can't find any other sources that confirm this. I searched high and low for an article, like China Daily and different places. I can't find anything other than this. So I don't know at this point, but this is really big if this is true. Now, if you search for, China selling oil in yuan, there'll be the same article or two different articles will come up. Examiner.com is the article I put on my blog. They did an article on this, but it was an article on Lindsey Williams' interview. So that's the source of this information. And I mean, regardless of whether this is true or not, it's coming. It's going to come. I did a video, it's got over 22,000 views, on the destruction of the dollar, the road to destruction. And it lays it all out. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to link it below. All the way from losing value back when the gold backing was taken away to losing demand, the petrodollar, where all the oil around the world was sold in dollars. Well, it's going to be sold in yuan soon, even if this isn't true. And then I noticed something, the CME group in Chicago, the futures exchange, is doing something with the yuan also, so that they can be settled in yuan instead of the US dollar. So there's a lot going on. People need to get out of denial. I mean, people just don't understand. They don't understand. We're in for some huge inflation. What this means, if the US dollar is not the reserve currency of the world anymore, other countries don't need it anymore. So all those dollars are coming home to roost, and there's going to be so much inflation here. I just wanted to touch on this. I'm going to put the Lindsey Williams interview below also, so you guys can check that out. And that's about it for now. I mean, if this is true, everything's going to speed up here in the next 6 to 8 months. I mean, Lindsey Williams also said in another interview that the elite were telling him that the dollar would be dead by the end of the year. So who knows? I mean, I don't know how you can't be holding some precious metals. I mean, I do understand, because the sheeple, they just don't have any idea. And people like myself were just chicken littles and conspiracy theorists, so they're not going to listen to me. Well, I'm just trying to point you in the right direction. So I'm not trying to have nothing to gain by making things up. There's enough going on that's incredible on its own. I don't need to be making crap up.